Okie dokie.
Okay, quite a few things being taken off the board. LNG, do you want to
No Brand, no Poppy, no Varus, no Callisto, no Lucian, no Ashe, no Maokai,
It's just a pretty consistent ban.
no Udyr. Okay, so Rumble first pick. Wait, what patch is this, guys? Hold up. Hold up. Just making sure I know what patch this is. So this is 14.1. And the next game we watch is 14.2. Okay, Roger, Roger.
Going to go towards something like the Udyr or the Kasanse, which he's played before. He's going towards the Rumble. Now, is Zucker going to bring up some kind of lane counter towards that? He doesn't have the Udyr himself to just have the easy lane priority matchup. Where's their priority lying?
Could lock in their bot lane if they so choose. Leave that, get their priority bot lane and then go for the top laner after the fact, because they do still have one pick afterwards. They are going to go for the Xayah. So Gala getting something that he can hyper carry, bit of extra safety as well, of course, with the Featherstorm. And we'll see what they can do with that particular pick. But LNG, do you want to pick up, I was going to say the Azir, do you want to go for your mid lane? Do you want to try and throw this draft into a little bit of disarray and kind of say, look, we don't care about the top lane. We want to force you to have to pick up something else different or try and follow our step.
Scout has 3 wins on the Azir, has 106 Azir games of all time. It is his most played champion by 44 clear games of his second most played across his career. Oh my word, he has put time into this. Now JDG, you know the Xayah's there, the center has been left available, that's going to be left up. Now, you don't lock into Town Kench now just to secure your bot lane duo, or you're going to flex that champion pool. It tends to be just easier to lock into Town Kench, but a lot of pros aren't really flexing that champion pool too much. They go for the rock solid and say, look, you can lock in whatever. We are very more than comfortable to pick this in. And now you look at JDG's team composition. Of a fight.
Lane will be the focus for them. Get rid of the Cassante. Maybe they could look for a jungler as well. Just give that Rumble as much of an easy time as he possibly can have. We know he has lane pressure. We know he's got such power.
Yeah, take away Talia so they can't actually roam top side. We're playing pretty passive, looks like, in the bot side.
There's actually quite a little bit more to it, but
interesting that there's no Vi ban over here.
Still not great. I still like
Vi seems like a very strong pick for JDG now, because obviously the Tahm Kench is going to prevent LNG from selecting it, but we don't really have any kind of pinching of the jungle pool yet, and no junglers taken. Blind Ornn. Not Blind, I guess it's Rumble. So Tristana in the mid lane, double AD carry. This is, I mean, it's great for Tahm Kench. They have strong engage with Rel. They have protection for their backline. They have engaged with Rumble R. And you're not actually going to pick Vi there. That's troll. You're going to pick Xin Zhao to try and duel early. So it's going to be pretty aggressive early play, I think, with the Xin Zhao in the bottom side of the map.
They've got themselves a fairly, obvious front to back. They've got decent engage options. They've got ways of kind of keeping themselves safe, but also massive scaling with that Azir and Xayah. And on the other side, I mean, massive amounts of damage, but great safety from the Tahm Kench as well with the
jungle counter pick is super weird here.
Yeah, so there's some good disengage.
But they already had top counter pick with Rumble, so I guess they're just going to go for it. It's not too surprising, though. We don't really see anything too unique. It's just about getting getting some pressure down early and being able to duel the Rel and slow her down.
Into LPL, back into regions. Remember, JDG, they three-peated the LPL. They have now got 3 titles back to back to back. Now, Coach Hom has parted ways with the team. I think he's taken a break to spend time with a newborn. But they have picked up Coach Martha, who coached Gen G to a 3-peat of the LCK. The 3-peat LPL team.
No, he's an assistant coach of Gen G. Obviously, Score was the head coach of Gen G.
I feel like it's not at the same level as the super team of 2023. Has an awful lot of
perform to make it worth it. And I think as well, you're looking at Ruler and expecting so much from this guy, rightfully so, because he is just, I would argue, still one of, if not the best AD carry in the world. Still an absolutely phenomenal talent. And as you mentioned, the super team they had last year, they lost 1 best of 5. Unfortunately, it was one of the most important best of 5s to lose, and it was the semi-finals. So these are the pressures and the expectations that we see from these guys, and he will be putting those on himself as well. So we'll see if he can continue on that winning way within the LPL domestically. Came in, of course.
2023 JDG or BLG 2024. So far 2023 JDG, but BLG looks very good. We don't expect them to be that good yet. They just formed, right?
From JDG, trading very aggressively. This means that Kanavi needs to get eyes on Weiwei whenever possible. There's one ward onto the Raptors who spot him out there. He's now going to be spotted in bot river. Jungle information is going to be very important.
Double knockup, okay.
Double knockup.
That is a double knockup.
The fuck?
Ignite. Scala flashes away, has got the...
Wow, imagine if we had just flashed that, guys. Imagine if we had just flashed that.
Jungle information.
They don't have ward in the brush. Where are their wards? Where are their wards? Where's Rakan's? Rakan went lens, and they don't have a ward in that brush, so they can't see the abyssal dive coming. They cannot see the abyssal dive coming, even though they know he has two.
Within the LPL domestically, came in, of course, 1-2 back to back.
Speaking of that, kind of how much.
So they know he has two. Right there on that minion.
Kind of Monaco within the LPL picked up the double Dorans for the laning phase. That's why you see them trading very aggressively beyond the wave. Every lane from JDG trading very aggressively.
So they know they have two, and they're trying a third wave crash into the bot side.
There's one ward onto the Raptors who spot him out there. He's now going to be spotted in bot river. Jungle information is going to be very.
You don't flash it, don't see it. Then you have to use Ghost, and you have to flash in order to get out of this. This is terrible. Why are they standing together? Guys, why are they standing together? Mark is trolling. Mark is trolling.
That is a double knock up and ignite. Scala flashes away, has got the heal, the ghost and the flash to keep him alive, had a little bit of a pot to keep him going. Weiwei now going to be in a smite fight, loses that one out to Kanavi.
Jeez.
Going to have to back away. I mean, you can't.
Kanavi has 3 pressured lanes and can just walk up and Q smite.
You're going to get dove, I imagine, because of the health bar difference. You're not really in a position to look for this.
I don't think you can dive the bot lane, but the fight towards bot side was mainly just...
Gala was asked this series, can't blame it all on Mark. I mean, he should have put a ward in that brush. What does he think is going to happen with Tahm Kench Abyssal Dive? It just allows you to see it coming.
And even if you don't look for a dive in bot side, you can look in towards bot side jungle as well. We've seen this all the way back from 2022 with the Kalista. Oh, you gow, buddy, that's not a time to jump in.
He's fine for the moment. I don't think Scout really had much kill pressure given his health bar, but yeah, we've had a couple of moments so far this split with Yagao having maybe some lapses in judgment, as we can see in the top side there. Flandre just kind of showing what this lane is going to be pretty much for the first 15 minutes of the game. Going to be able to push in, going to be able to get the priority, and constantly be able to keep out this pressure.
It's possible the match versus T1 made negative impact in Scout and Gala performance. Nah, I don't think so.
Just going to be fine to clear out the top side of his camps and just keep up this momentum, keep up this pressure.
Yeah, so this is the style of play which we've, again, I think really the team which popularized this was T1 when they, of course, when they won Worlds, and they went through a lot of LPL teams to do that. 3 pushing lanes, aggressive jungler that can, even if they're not dueling the enemy jungler, keep track of them and make sure that they can't punish the pushing lanes in return. That's exactly what JDG are doing right here. They need to keep vision up, and that's exactly what they've done. Look at the replaced ward on the Raptors. Look at the ward just into the pixel brush at the top.
What am I eating?
Well, I know it's not the proper pixel brush, but the top lane river brush. JDG,
Chipotle chicken wrap that I made.
Enough vision to play
Marinated, air-fried chicken with a chipotle lime juice marinade that I made an aioli with mayonnaise and Greek yogurt and minced chipotle peppers and adobo with lime juice, and then it has gochujang pico de gallo. Gochujang is the Korean chili paste. So gochujang pico de gallo, so tomatoes and red onions, like salsa, and then romaine lettuce and Mexican shredded cheese. It's fucking banging.
Good feather call. try and make this one work. A heal has to come out. Actually, it's Ruler putting that one out, excuse me, to get something going.
Why your food always so complicated? Because I'm not a fucking pleb. And I know how to cook, and it's delicious. And it's not complicated because I can just meal prep it. What I do is I marinate a gazillion chicken breasts, and then I just air fry them in batches, and I make a bunch of pico de gallo, and it takes me 5 minutes to make one of these wraps. Takes me 5 minutes. You just got to think ahead. Use your brain.
Sometimes when you're on a base, you just look to see if there's a place.
Do you put samjang as well? No. Gochujang. Samjang is made out of gochujang and doenjang.
So, whatever.
So, I don't need that too.
Gain for that teleport ever. Scout on the other side doing completely fine in this laning phase, but Yagao's picked himself up in Cult. It's not like he's losing too much value.
Andre, very scared right there of maybe getting caught out. So
Cooking stream win already happened. You missed it, buddy.
Going to be the Ornhorn to react and okay. What's going on? What's going on, guys? What's maybe getting caught out? So drop the equalizer to thin out the wave, and that's going to be the Ornhorn to react and okay. What's going on? What's going on, guys?
Zika?
What's happening here? I feel like this isn't what we expect or what we would be anticipating.
What is happening this game, guys?
Hyped up to everyone.
Like, is LNG just trolling? Is LNG just trolling, guys?
Listening as probably two of our top 4 teams going at each other.
Okay, they get one of those. So, oh my gosh, every player gets like 1 free oopsie. This is Yagao's top lane
is
was
that per
both Circus
series?
and
Because Yagao already
so
used
they have
last
one.
week.
Well, okay, but I wasn't casting that one, so I didn't get to call that one
That's
out.
fair.
Okay,
That's
is true.
fair.
Actually, that was really Yagao, you've had your oopsie.
The narrative in the China at the most, the removal of mythics hurt Galas. Now ADCs are more lane reliant and can't just play like a dog in lane until one item mythic spike. Interesting.
PL broadcasting.
Yeah.
That's 2 Sundays as well. Maybe Sundays.
So Yamato will coach Cloud9. Probably not. He just got engaged in Europe. I don't think he's going to go to NA. Could be wrong, though.
There's not really a lot to happen. JDG just happy to keep putting down the pressure. They've got a little bit of a goal lead, nothing too much to be writing home about. LNG happy to be farming up. You can even see the coal being stacked by Gala, or rather anti-stacked, as he tries to build that one up towards the 100 mark. And we just chill.
Wait, LNG win this game? They do. It's puzzling.
The equalizer down top side. I don't really expect to see much action there. Kanavi's just decided these are my chickens. And
he's literally losing a farming battle to Rel because his lanes are pushed in and Rel has actually gotten the chance to invade Xinjiao. This is not going according to plan. Scout is...
These are my chickens, and there's not really a lot you can do about it. Wei says, no, I want the big chicken nugget. And that's all they can do.
What?
Scout! Whoa, he's taking a lot of damage.
How did he get in position to get ulted? He literally shifting sands in when he knows Trist has ult and stacking explosive charge on. Is he is everybody in this game trolling? Like, is this match fixing? What the fuck is happening?
Whoa, he's taking a lot of damage. I didn't even realize how completely on the opposite side he was. Now Yagao caught between a rock and a hard place, doesn't want to use his flash, and Scout might just be able to get out.
But is every single lane trolling?
Execute, knowing that no one's even chasing him, but he will end up getting away from this. He's going to get able to recall, I think. No, he's going to go for the execute. He doesn't know no one's coming for him, but still, no kills technically on the board.
Just wanted to make sure it had timed out enough, but still, Scout blows his ultimate, blows his flash. Yagao, I mean, we talked about it maybe being in terms of death of oopsies, causes a big one there for Scout, though. Big moment, and he's going to...
I heard a rumor that Inspired and JoJo were willing to play in EU. Well, Inspired has a green card now, and JoJo... I know JoJo got better offers than Cloud9, but wanted to play on Cloud9. So it's possible those offers were coming in from EU. I'm sure people made offers to Inspired in Europe. I'm sure that's true.
That's why I got confused, because I was like, oh, Scout's fine. This priority mid. This is just solid from JDG, to be perfectly honest. There's not really much else to say about it. And okay, Scout. That's why I got confused, because I was like, oh, Scout's fine. He's underneath his tower. And then, as you rightly said, it wasn't his tower to be under.
Yeah, and then he just taps the E. For those of you that don't play Azir, if you press E, if you only have one soldier in range to go towards it, it will always go to that regardless of where your cursor is. Maybe he thought he had another soldier up, maybe he thought he had another W and it wasn't, he didn't have a charge for it. Not exactly sure, we'll have to watch back from his perspective. after that one's been and done. Either way, awkward moment, lucky to get out alive. JDG, they are keeping up the full court press. You can see that Kanavi continually keeping himself relevant. And the problem is with Weiwei losing out on quite a lot of early resources. I mean, he's up to level 7, to go right. He's managed to catch up a little bit. Need to keep an eye on this. If Weiwei keeps getting denied too much, he won't be able to act as a front line in the same way that he needs to be as an initiation threat. Because that's the core of LNG's composition. It's the Ornn, the Xin Zhao, and it's the Rakan all finding their way into the important targets of JDG. If one of them is weak, that game plan becomes more difficult.
It was very, very difficult. It's coming up just under 1,000 goal lead, 10 minutes on the board. It's going to be a slow burner, I have a feeling, of a game. I don't think anyone's going to be fighting for anything too crazy. And of course, with the Grubs now up, you can get yourself up to a nice pallet of 5 for JDG. Make sure you are getting as much priority. And this will be great for them. Like we've talked about in the previous series, Grubs, the Void Grubs are fantastic if you can hit the tower. And this team has got the range to be able to hit the tower. We actually see it just completely pure lane kingdom at the moment for JDG. So having that extra little Void Might, having the extra little bit of damage could be huge. Equalizer coming back up in a second or two. So Flandre, without his flash for now, shouldn't be getting too much happening to him unless he walks forward right up into the clutches of Weiwei.
Well, we'll have to just keep track of that, because for once, he's been off of vision. It's one of the first times in the game where Weiwei has been off of vision. They might be able to force his ult with something like his flash rather with an Ornn combo. He has his ult as well.
So respectfully.
To commit to this?
He's playing so respectfully. We can see the little move as Flandre now
Aha.
a little bit of trouble. There goes the equalizer to try and trade this one back. The damage isn't exceptional, but the bounce house is. And that's first.
Had to use Gen ult there, but
here for LNG.
just for damage, but you'll take it. You'll definitely take it.
That's going to be a full wave lost to turret. Kanavi's going to come to pick that up and make sure at least that plates aren't going to go down from the side of LNG, taking them as well. But still on the board for LNG, importantly so. Flandre felt like he did most of what he could there. Maybe he could have just...
Flandre played that pretty well.
He didn't have full information, punished for it.
Really, really well done. Flandre now without his flash makes him another gankable target. Frozen Heart as a first item for missing is not something I've seen. Normally it is the Sunfire Aegis, but you know, we'll see what he's got to go for. It is a cheaper item for sure, but
so it's cheaper, and you look at the carries on the other side of LNG. Azir, no, he's not a marksman, but attack speed based.
Frozen Heart has huge value for missing, guys. Huge value.
In to stack the Q with the ability to get the knock up after that point. Frozen Heart, very valuable item. I think for a first time as well, if you're diving into the enemy team, I think that makes a lot of sense.
The maths checks out, according to Nymera. I'll trust him with anything in this regard. He's obsessive with the numbers.
1,000 calculations per second, but they're all wrong.
Yes, I did a million.
Yeah, it's so good because they're also playing into his ear for attack speed. And as Nymera pointed out too, the Xin Zhao, you know, the faster you can auto, the faster you get your knock up off of your Q, and also you heal faster too from his passive.
Exactly as you said, this is very
So
intentional coming out from JDG. Cheap items to get them right on the board and to get that kind of value
Super
out
good.
as soon as possible.
Well, it makes a lot of sense for Rel. I know this has been a big conversation around itemization as well, for those of you that have tuned into the likes of LS and Dominate's thoughts on items.
What patch is this on?
Typically,
14.1.
is better than upgrading it to the full Barmy's item, because the extra damage you get from the completed item
It's interesting though that missing is not playing support item.
less valuable than getting one of the incredibly powerful tank items that are available right now. So Frozen Heart and Koenig Rukkan, they're two of the best ones on the table right now. I will say double stacking Frozen Hearts from the side of JDG's front line, I don't know whether that's efficient, because if they're on the same target, you only get that passive activating once. But it's something to just consider in regards to where they're positioning and how many of those Frozen Heart debuffs they're going to get.
Scout getting jumped on here. Fair bit of damage on top of him. Buster shot used. Weiwei goes right in. I don't think that was the smartest of moves. Never mind. He's going to go straight in. Flash. Try to get the Crescent Guard. Scout wasn't really prepared for that. A little bit of disconnect between Weiwei and Scout, because I feel like if you flash in for that knock-up and Crescent Guard, you're waiting for the Sarima Shuffle.
Yeah, one of the disappointing things about watching LNG has been that, you know, they haven't had that same mid-jungle synergy that they had last year.
Check his hands or if they're on the keyboard.
Which is why I really liked watching them play, so.
Still gets the flash away, and now suddenly Yagao has to play without flash against the next Ornn ult of the game, potentially. So let's see if LNG can work with that. But Shinzo flash being down against the Buster shot and against the center, that's going to make it very, very difficult to make the play. Mark's now falls in the fight.
For all the damage missing, we'll get all the shields in the world to heal. He's still ticking down, and Gala picks up his kill. Now they're going to look for the shuffle. That's what they were waiting for. Scout knew they didn't need to overcommit to the mid lane. They had all the tools available to them.
They're on.
Never mind, he's going to go straight in, flash, try to get the Crescent Guard. Scout wasn't really prepared for that. A little bit of disconnect between Weiwei and Scout.
So no more Trist ult or flash.
For that knock open Crescent Guard, you're waiting for the Sarima shuffle.
I mean, maybe Weiwei sat there.
Top of one Buster shot used. Weiwei goes right in.
In regards to...
I think that was the smartest of moves. Never mind, he's going to go straight in, flash, try to get the Crescent Guard.
I mean, maybe
yeah, weird interaction there. Mixed call.
Potentially. So let's see if LNG can work with that. But Shinzo flash being down against the Buster shot and against the center.
Yagao TP in, but Yagao's not part of this engagement. Mark flashes in, CC onto the Tahm Kench, burst the Tahm Kench. Can't use an ultimate, he's dead. Nice ult. Actually catches Ruler after the flash too.
Commit to the mid lane. They had all the tools available to them, and now LNG are starting to pick up some pace.
Oh, that's a familiar feeling for Ruler. Flash for flash on the Azir ult, but doesn't get clear. LNG forced the fight, and given that this
he got fakered in the mid lane.
Struggled in the skirmishes and being on the same page, this is a big moment for LNG. JDG on the other side of things, they've been known in this iteration, and when Yagao was last on the team as well in 2022, to be a bit of a slow-burning team where they need to eventually come around to winning fights.
Really good decisive engage here.
They really disrespect the fact that Kanavi
what is Kanavi doing? Yeah, Kanavi already used his ult, right?
A little bit of disconnect between Wade and I don't.
Yeah, so they actually don't have engage here. And they missed the center route to start things off, so I think that's the trigger. They just realized the rel is pretty useless, and they can still disengage with a zero ult. Very nice. Good call from LNG. You know, they may have been trolling in lane, but... How many LPL teams would be in your top 5 teams in the world right now? 2 or 3. I'm forming those decisions, and then I'm going to make my power rankings this week. You know, it's probably BLG and JDG right now, possibly top esports as well.
They've been known in this iteration, and when Yagao was last on the team as well in 2022, to be a bit of a slow-burning team where they need to eventually come around to winning fights. This isn't their winning fight. They really disrespect the fact that Kanavi has used his big combo. He can't counter-engage at this point, and the Tahm Kench, even with something like the tankier items and getting more gold income, is not tanky enough to be the defensive front line. He dies before he can even use the Devour.
Yeah, it's just really good kind of target selection and recognition from LNG to say, yeah, we got time, we got position, and oh, Yagao, you've no flash. You do not have
I too hate Rookern as an item name. It's so stupid. I mean, Riot sucks at naming things. Just miserable.
And I mean, this is LNG picking up the pace right now.
Case in point, watch out, Eep. Holy shit, dude. Fire that person immediately. Felchmaster, thank you. Trying to decide where to go snowboarding tomorrow in Tahoe. Sugar Bowl or Sierra at Tahoe? You know, despite the fact that my family has a cabin in Tahoe, because it is a summer-only cabin, I have never been skiing in Tahoe. When I'm in California, because I was in LA, I would go to Mammoth a lot. And obviously, I'm from Colorado. So, you know, I have no reason to go skiing in Tahoe because I don't have a place there. So I can't answer your question. That does sound like a conundrum. I am very jealous. I'm very jealous.
Make no mistake, that's not necessarily the safest bot lane that they could have right now, given the amount of LNGs engaged.
Do you think going forward, if we continue to see the Azir shuffle catching Ruler with the flash, that it just becomes a...
Breckenridge is so sick. That was actually the last place I went skiing.
Well, I I thought you were going towards
That was the last place I
thought
went
you were going
skiing,
towards, you know how players have
like a year
names
ago.
with, moves named after them. You know, we have the insect, we have
Oh, I know.
Messiah.
I was back in Colorado for Christmas,
How
and
painful
my
would it
wife
be
and
to
I
be one of the greatest
ditched our
players of all time,
kid
have a name
and went to
to
Breckenridge for a
play
couple days and
for
ate
him?
delicious
Get a
elk
vocal
meat
moment.
You
Wait,
with
just
blackberry
got
sauce
rulered.
at nice restaurants, and skied at
Well, I
Breckenridge.
mean,
It was great.
It's iconic enough that people will recognize it for the play. In my own way, I really hope it doesn't because, oh my god, he's one of the greatest carries of all time. But the problem is,
But if you
that's
want the
not
real
exactly
sleeper
the
OP
fairness
ski
of
resort in
language
Colorado, it's
rights,
Copper Mountain.
what the references
It's like
people,
very locals only, but it's
Yeah,
huge
it
and
is what
super
people
nice.
associate with it, and we'll see. I'm not gonna
And
be
nobody's
going
ever
into
there.
rulers
Like, nobody's
anytime
there.
soon, to be perfectly
Copper
honest.
Mountain
I've got
rules.
A little BM to be throwing that at one of possibly, obviously not the greatest player.
Powder
but
Mountain is the
ever,
greatest
but
resort
possibly
ever of all
second
time.
greatest.
I'll keep that in
To
mind.
come into,
he's on the list somewhere. Pretty close
he's
to the top.
definitely on the list somewhere at the top, but arguments pending. But 2,000 gold now is the lead here for LNG as JDG want to try and take a couple of towers in response to the separation of LNG. JDG now just pushing and being a bit more of a nuisance. They aren't going to be able to get much else from this, but still breaking up with that mid lane turret always feels good. Minute and a half until Dragon spawns.
So, Dragon fight on the table, as you were saying.
Crazy to
So
think
looking
Flandre was
to
world champion.
Right back into the red side jungle of JDG. I wonder if JDG would prefer to just wait and hang fire until a better moment.
And Flandre, I think, has done quite a decent job so far for JDG. I mean, he's exceeded my expectations.
This could be a pretty awkward fight to deal with the amount of engage that LNG.
I think this series maybe realized Top Esports is the second best LPL team. Yeah, I might be coming away with that conclusion too. I mean, JDG being behind in this game and down 4 kills to 0 is kind of outrageous considering how hard LNG was running it down in lane, guys.
But see what they want to go for right now. Both teams happy with the way they're set up. Gonna have 1.5 items pretty much across the board. Actually, yeah, almost exclusively across the board. We'll see what they can make going. So how do you want to approach this right now as JDG? How do you want to try and make this dragon your stack?
So this is the important thing. This is the very important thing, the vision control. They've missed this ward. That's important. They don't have an Umbral Glaive on the center as well. It's gone towards the Ghost Blade for more mobility. That movement speed could save them in a clutch moment, but the amount of information you lose from not going the Umbral obviously can help hurt them at points. So, good pink ward coverage by JDG. Hasn't completely covered things out. Circus changed over to the exhaust. Let's see how much LNG can do in terms of picking their fights correctly.
Yeah, an unsealed spellbook does give an exhaust over to LNG. Everyone's got flashes now up and available. All fights there. Yagao gets 1v1 to the top side, which means the TP can come in
and
on
he's
return.
teleporting.
They can turn and burn for the fight. The flashes that just came back up are now burned. They don't care about the Senna. Ruler is running for the hills because he knows it's a lost fight. 3 kills. Field spellbook does give an exhaust over to LNG. Everyone's got flashes now up and available. All fights there. Yagao gets 1v1 to the top side, which means the TP can come in.
What the fuck, man? What is going on? How does Yagao just die to his ear in the 1v1?
Ruler is running for the hills because he knows it's a lost fight. 3
and he's teleporting. This is the player which
What?
LNG has resources, and this is how it started. He lies in wait. He has a teleport if nothing happens in this top side, but goes for it all the same. Gets so many tower shots.
It's a great play by Scout, guys.
He was given a lot of resources.
Everyone's
things out. Moment. Changed over
So it's a great play by Scout. Like, he actually just baits this out. So I think they're posturing here to pretend that they're doing this, but the call is actually just to take top tier 1, you know, because they don't... Oh, he does have TP up. What the fuck? So he has TP. But they don't know where Azir is.
Yeah, an unsealed spellbook does give an exhaust over to LNG. Everyone's got flashes.
I was getting trolled by replay cooldowns, guys.
And he's teleporting.
He doesn't burn flash because he knows he's dead.
They don't care about the Senna. Ruler is running for the hills because he knows it's a
lot. Assassinates Yagao in the top.
Yagao is flash. I don't think he lives. So it shows that flash is on cooldown here, but these cooldowns are both up. Did he have ult? He had ult up too. Curious. Yeah, I never trust CD in replay. Dude, you can't even trust CD on live anymore. I was watching a game on 14-2 yesterday where I was like, why is Vi ult up after the play? And Vi ult was used, but it didn't go on CD in the live version.
Over to LNG. Everyone's got flashes now up and available.
It's 14-2 is so fucked, guys. Like, no dragon timers.
All fights there. Yagao gets 1v1 to the top side, which means the TP can come in
And he's
return.
teleporting.
They can turn and burn for the fight. The flashes that just to LNG. Everyone's now burn.
Wake up. He wins started. He lies in wait. Dragon advantage, gold advantage, and this is how it started. He lies in wait. He has a teleport. Nothing.
I mean, there's no wave. He's getting hit by the turret. I mean, he's dead. Like, Azir has flash too in this scenario.
Gets so many tower shots onto Yagao by clearing the wave under it. Comes back into the play, and JDG are blindsided.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a fantastically orchestrated fight coming out from LNG. The fact that they get that play from Scout means that they are in full confidence to go, we can fight this, we can go forward. And like you saw, like JDG just had to run. They didn't have a choice. At that point, the fight is already lost because you know the Azir is coming. Regardless if he has ult or not, he is going to be a threat. So really, really well done here by the side of LNG. They get themselves the second dragon. They get control around the map. And they are really starting to ramp up. I mean, JDG, they look a little lost in this composition. Like, they don't really know exactly how they want to try and go for it. And I gotta call a spade a spade. Yagao has had an off game.
Yeah, he's really not in the best position. I think Flandre's also been struggling as well. Not necessarily by his own fault. They are close enough in gold to mount a fight. It's not like this is game over at this point. You need to see Kanavi find a window of time to engage before LNG can get their pieces in position as well. As LNG have been pulling the trigger first, if you can get all of the ultimates layered in the same spot, that is the golden moment from JDG. They can very much look for a turnaround fight.
Yeah, I've heard that they changed the Elder Dragon timer to 5 minutes instead of 6 minutes on 14-2 as well. So it's like, it's a minute shorter.
So nice little bit of goal going back over to them, but here comes Gala. And finally, that exhaust gets used. So there is absolutely no escape here for Flandre. He recognizes this, not going to flash, not going to do anything else, just going to burn down the wave. And that is going to be Gala with his third kill of the game. Look at the kill distribution here for LNG.
This game is actually shocking from JDG's perspective that they had this amount of early game advantages, managed to throw it away.
Very early in the mid game.
That's a good point to bring up because those carries, if their team manages to find the engage, are going to make the fight very, very short. Scout has flash and he's looking for it again.
He's looking for it again, but yeah, Ruler's trying to help out his buddy, but there's just not a lot you can do. The redemption comes down to make sure
Missing finally gets the support item now.
Is gonna fall as well. That's gonna be
which is fine. I mean, it's okay to get later support items.
Shurima legacy down to cover the wave. I mean,
but
fight very, very short. Scout has flash and he's looking for it again.
He's looking for it again, but yeah, Ruler's trying to help out his buddy, but there's just not a lot you can do. The redemption comes down to make sure Scout's not going out, and Kanavi is going to fall as well. That's going to be 2 quick kills. You imagine that's going to be the Baron as well with the Shurima
breaking on the Azir. His kind of ambled like a pedestrian into some of these fights. They're kind of sticking around too long here. Are they fighting for vision control? Are they looking for a fight? Well, they're not really looking for either, and they get picked off on the other side of it.
It's just a Senna here. Only form of damage while the tanks just get whittled down in the front line. What a terrible game from JDG.
Yeah, again, I like that you said that they're behind in the setup. They're not behind in terms of the goals. You look at the way the map is set up, despite it being 10 kills to none. It's only 3,000.
Biggest reason to watch LPL is because they have dragon timers. Did they have dragon timers on 14.2? Because that's where it's broken, not this patch.
Getting back into this, but you look at where that gold is. It's 2.5 items, nearly 3 for the Azir. It's 2.5 items for the.
It is crazy that it is 10-0 in kills after all lanes kind of fucked up very early on for LNG.
Senna's fantastic in the late game, but you got to get there.
So, and the way that you're gonna struggle to get there is if you don't have vision control. They're trying to place wards, and they're caught for placing wards.
Yeah, they're trying to see if they get something there, but you have to commit so much to Vow.
LNG, they are holding.
This game is super over.
JDG and saying, if you walk up to your turret, this sinks in.
Yeah, and look, they're going to go for it now. That knife is poised to go right into the back of JDG. They're getting some decent damage down, though. Back onto LNG. And they are
scaling is irrelevant in this game, guys, because they're getting bopped so hard in the early game that doesn't matter how much scaling they have.
Really coming coming in clutch right now. And I mean, you normally would look at this point for a TP flank. You'd look for something to go for, but it's
LNG has played these fights well, but I mean, they've consistently had man advantages in these fights because, you know, Scout's making a play on Diagao and killing him and then TPing in, or they're collapsing onto a flank at the Drake and getting, you know, the Tristana just isn't able to do anything in these engagements. Like, Yagao's been entirely useless.
Chance to pull the trigger there. They're the ones which are engaging first, and even if JDG were to make a big play, there's every chance that Scout shuffles you out or Gala gets a big ultimate too. It is so hard from this position. Could have left them a little. They've played
6 towers to 4, still doing well on that. He's got himself some Void Grubs as well. It is not a perfect game by any metric. For now, between these two teams, as we wait to see where this fight can really go for Mark. He's going to have the TP coming in here from Scout. They look for a full engage. They want everyone and everything. It's a good shot.
So it's a nice engage with the Rel engage on top of Equalizer with Senna ult, but it's just too late.
Just sit there and fight on top of the Equalizer. They are still burning down. You can see Ruler.
The gold gap is enormous.
Separated from the rest of this fight, still putting in DPS. Flandre is in a little bit of trouble. He's in a lot of trouble, and he is dead. Now
Scouts' Zeros look very good outside of that early game mishap. Beautifully played by Scout. Wow. Scout's been so good on this Azir.
Running for his life. This could be the game right here, right now. They're TPing in Nymera.
And hands up, who's missed this version of Scout? I have you.
Yeah, Scout, I mean, he fucked up in the early game, but holy moly, that was good.